You see a private jet parked at the airport and you think that's what rich people fly. But there's another plane, one with propellers, one that looks, honestly, kind of boring compared to a sleek Gulfstream. And quietly, some of the smartest, wealthiest people in the world are choosing that one instead. It's called the Pilatus PC-12. It costs around $4 million. And it has been voted the most desired private aircraft by pilots and owners, year after year after year. So the question is, what do they know that you don't? Hit that subscribe button. This one changes how you see private aviation. Today we're going to break down exactly why the rich are skipping the jet and buying this Swiss-made turboprop instead. The history, the math, the places it can take you, and the people already flying one. By the end of this video, you're going to look at propeller planes very differently. Let's get into it. To understand why wealthy people love this airplane, you first need to understand what it actually is. Because at first glance, it doesn't look like anything special. The Pilatus PC-12 is a single-engine turboprop aircraft. That means it has one propeller, one engine, and it looks nothing like the sleek private jets you see on Instagram. But that description doesn't do it justice, because what Pilatus built is one of the most capable, versatile, and reliable private aircraft ever made. It was born in Switzerland. Pilatus Aircraft has been building planes since 1939, originally manufacturing military trainers for the Swiss Air Force. Decades of precision engineering, rigorous testing, and an obsession with reliability became the company's DNA. When they decided to enter the civilian market with a serious business aircraft, they brought all of that with them. The PC-12 was announced in 1989 at the National Business Aviation Association convention in the United States. The concept was bold: build a single-engine aircraft with a large cabin, long range, and performance capable of competing with twin-engine planes. At the time, many people were skeptical. A single engine for serious business travel? It sounded like a compromise. It wasn't. The first PC-12 flew in 1991, and by 1994 it had received certification in Switzerland and the United States. What followed was decades of continuous improvement. New engines, better avionics, upgraded cabins, turning the PC-12 into the refined machine it is today. In May 2023, Pilatus delivered the 2000th PC-12. That number speaks for itself. So what makes it special on the inside? The cabin is pressurized, which means you fly comfortably at altitude without feeling it. It seats up to 9 passengers with a flat floor, something many aircraft in its class can't offer. There's a fully enclosed lavatory, a rear baggage area you can access during flight, and executive interior options with leather seats, work tables, and entertainment systems. The cabin has also been compared to that of much more expensive jets. Passengers frequently don't realize they're in a turboprop until they look out the window. The engine at the heart of it all is the Pratt Whitney PT6, arguably the most trusted turbine engine ever built. More than 47,500 of these engines have been produced, logging over 400 million flight hours worldwide. It is the gold standard in reliability. Pilots don't just respect it, they trust their lives to it every single day. The PC-12 cruises at around 290 knots, that's roughly 333 miles per hour, with a range of up to 1,800 nautical miles. It climbs fast, handles well, and performs consistently in heat, cold, altitude, and rough conditions. The aviation world eventually gave it a nickname, the aerial SUV. Now let's talk money, because this is where the PC-12 story gets really interesting. When most people think about private aviation, they think about jets, and jets are impressive, there's no denying that. But jets come with a financial reality that even wealthy people feel. The PC-12 quietly solves almost all of it. Let's start with the purchase price. A new Pilatus PC-12, the latest NGX version, costs around $4 million to $5 million. That sounds like a lot, and it is. But compare that to a light jet like the Cessna Citation M2, which starts around $3 million and carries fewer passengers with less range and no cargo door. Step up to a mid-size jet like the Citation Latitude, and you're already at $8 to $9 million. A Gulfstream G650, the trophy jet of the ultra-wealthy, will cost you $75 million new. Suddenly, $4 million looks like a bargain, but the purchase price is just the beginning. The real cost of owning an aircraft is what happens after you buy it. Operating costs are where the PC-12 absolutely dominates. The turboprop engine burns significantly less fuel than a jet engine, roughly 60 to 70 gallons per hour depending on conditions. A comparable light jet burns anywhere from 100 to 150 gallons per hour. Over hundreds of hours of flying per year, that difference adds up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Jet fuel is expensive. Burning less of it is a very big deal. Maintenance is the other major factor. Jets have complex systems, multiple engines, and inspection requirements that generate enormous bills. The PC-12 is famous in the industry for its predictable maintenance costs. There are no surprise $100,000 inspections hiding around the corner. Owners and operators consistently describe the PC-12's maintenance as straightforward, reliable, and budget-friendly compared to anything jet-powered in a similar mission profile. Then there's hangar cost, insurance, and crew requirements. Many PC-12 owners fly the aircraft themselves. It's approved for single-pilot operation under IFR conditions, meaning you don't need to hire a co-pilot. That alone can save $80,000 to $150,000 per year in crew costs, depending on where you operate. And finally, resale value. The PC-12 holds its value exceptionally well. The used market for PC-12s is active and healthy, which means when a business owner is ready to upgrade, they're not taking a devastating loss on their investment. That's not always the case with jets, where depreciation can be brutal. Put it all together and the math becomes clear. The PC-12 offers a cabin comparable to a light jet, a range that competes with mid-sized jets, and operating costs that are a fraction of either. For a business owner flying 200 to 400 hours a year, the savings can easily reach $300,000 to $500,000 annually compared to operating a jet. Smart money isn't always the flashiest money. Here's something most people don't think about when they imagine private aviation. Where can the plane actually land? Jets are impressive in the air, but on the ground, they are surprisingly limited. They need long paved runways. They need airports with the right infrastructure. And that means no matter how expensive your jet is, there are thousands of destinations around the world that are simply off the table. The PC-12 laughs at that problem. One of the most celebrated features of the Pilatus PC-12 is its short takeoff and landing capability, known in aviation as STOL. This aircraft can operate from runways as short as 1,500 feet. It can land on grass, gravel, dirt, and unpaved strips that would be completely impossible for any jet. And it does all of this while remaining fully pressurized, fast, and comfortable for everyone on board. Think about what that actually means in practice. A wealthy rancher in Montana can land directly on his property. A business owner in Brazil can reach a remote site deep in the Amazon that has no real airport. A family in Europe can fly directly to an alpine village strip that no commercial flight and no private jet could ever serve. The PC-12 doesn't just take you to the city nearest your destination, it takes you to your destination. This capability is not an accident. Pilatus engineered the PC-12 specifically to handle the world's most demanding environments. It operates in the Australian outback, the African bush, the Canadian north, and the Himalayan foothills. Aid organizations and governments use it precisely because it goes where nothing else can. For wealthy owners, this translates into a kind of freedom that no jet can buy. The most exclusive destinations on Earth are often the ones without proper airports. Private islands, mountain retreats, remote fishing lodges, working ranches. The PC-12 connects all of them. There's a saying in the PC-12 community: a jet takes you to the airport near the place you want to go. The PC-12 takes you to the place. By now you understand what the PC-12 is, why the math works, and what it can do. But there's one question that always comes up. Okay, but who actually owns one of these things? The answer might surprise you. The PC-12 is not the plane of the celebrity who wants to be seen. It's the plane of the person who wants to get things done. Its owners tend to be business builders, entrepreneurs, executives, investors, and operators who value efficiency, reliability, and performance over appearances. In the sports world, Boston Red Sox owner John W. Henry flies a PC-12 alongside a much larger Gulfstream. That detail is telling. A man who can afford any aircraft in the world keeps a Pilatus in his fleet. That's not a budget decision, that's a capability decision. Baseball Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr. flies a Cirrus Vision jet, but the PC-12 sits in the same community of aircraft beloved by athletes who actually understand aviation, people who fly regularly, value safety above all, and don't need a jet just to prove a point. Beyond celebrity names, the real PC-12 ownership story lives in the business world. Medical companies use them for organ transport and air ambulance operations. Mining and energy executives use them to reach remote sites. Real estate developers use them to visit properties spread across entire regions. Agricultural businesses use them to manage operations across multiple states or countries. The fractional ownership program PlaneSense has taken delivery of more than 77 PC-12 SPOs, more than any other organization in the world, because their clients, successful business owners across the United States, keep asking for exactly this aircraft. And then there are the pilots who own one simply because they love it. In Business Jet Traveler's annual survey, the PC-12 has been voted the most desired turboprop year after year by private pilots. Many of them eventually eventually stop wishing and start buying. The profile of a PC-12 owner is consistent, someone who did the research, ran the numbers, and made a rational decision. Not the richest person in the room, but often the smartest one. Everything we've covered so far has been logical: the history, the math, the performance, the owners. But there's one more dimension to the PC-12 story that no spreadsheet can capture: the way it makes people feel. Ask any pilot who has flown a PC-12 and you'll notice something. They don't just talk about it technically, they talk about it the way people talk about something they love. The controls are precise and responsive. The cockpit is modern, clean, and confidence-inspiring. The PT6 engine hums with a reliability that experienced pilots describe as almost meditative. You feel like the aircraft is with you, not against you. For owner pilots, wealthy individuals who fly themselves, this matters enormously. Flying is already demanding. Flying in a machine that feels honest, predictable, and capable makes every flight better. The PC-12 has a reputation for being forgiving without being boring, powerful without being aggressive. And then there's the view from the back. Passengers who fly in the PC-12 regularly report being surprised by the cabin experience. The noise levels are low. The ride is smooth. The windows are large. For a single-engine turboprop, it punches so far above its weight class that first-time passengers often can't believe what they're sitting in. This combination, a pilot's plane that is also a passenger's plane, is extraordinarily rare. Most aircraft optimize for one or the other. The PC-12 genuinely delivers both. That is ultimately why pilots call it the dream machine. Not because it's perfect, but because it's honest. It does exactly what it promises every single time, in conditions that would humble other aircraft. And in aviation, there is no higher compliment than that. So there it is, a propeller plane, Swiss-made, single engine, just 30 years of engineering, an engine with 400 million flight hours of trust behind it, and a track record that speaks louder than any marketing campaign ever could. The wealthy people who fly the PC-12 didn't choose it to impress anyone. They chose it because it lands where jets can't, costs a fraction to operate, holds its value, and delivers every single time. Whether the runway is paved in Switzerland or carved out of the dirt in the middle of nowhere, that's the real secret behind this airplane. It's not about looking rich, it's about thinking rich. And thinking rich means making decisions based on value, capability, and intelligence, not on what looks good in a photo. The Pilatus PC-12 is proof that sometimes the smartest choice in the room is the one nobody is talking about. Until now. If this video changed the way you see private aviation, or just the way you think about smart decisions in general, hit subscribe. There are a lot more stories like this one waiting for you.